All right, I want to preview one more game for the day. Go through some 2022 NFL draft prospects for the Auburn versus Penn State game, which is on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC today. First off, I want to start with saying probably the best player, one of the best players in this game is not going to be eligible for the 2022 NFL draft. He comes out in 2023 at the earliest. It's sophomore running back Tank Bigsby for Auburn. But again, he won't be eligible this year. So we have to talk about the guys who are coming out potentially in this coming year's draft. Those are obviously redshirt sophomores, anyone who's junior, senior, that kind of player. No freshmen, no true sophomores are eligible. First one I just want to mention, I just want to throw his name out there, junior quarterback Bo Nix for Auburn. I don't think he's going to be drafted, I'll be honest. Whenever he gets to the draft, I don't think he's going to be taken. But he started off hot this year so far against bad competition. We'll see if that changes. But I just want to throw his name out there real quick. And then we can move on to Auburn's defense because there's not really a lot of talent in offense that's eligible for this coming year's draft. Defensively, redshirt sophomore edge rusher Colby Wooden is a player I would keep my eye on. Also, junior linebacker / edge rusher Derek Hall is having a bit of a breakout year early on. Senior interior defensive lineman Marquise Burks is another player I would watch. Again, there's a lot of interior defensive linemen. This year's classes are not high-end players. There's very few first-round caliber interior defensive linemen. There are very few second-round caliber interior defensive linemen. But guys like Burks, guys who are primarily aimed at stopping the run, less than rushing the passer, there's a lot of those guys in this draft who could really fill up the draft board when it comes to day 3, rounds 5 through 7. Jacoby Mclean is another player I want to talk about. He's a senior linebacker who just filled up the stat sheet the past couple of years for Auburn. The issue is we've seen guys like this in the past who are really good at linebackers at the college level who put up tons of stats who end up being day 3 picks and don't really see the field much in the pros or primarily play as special teamers. I think McLean is a little bit better than that, but could still end up falling into that same bucket of, hey, this is a highly productive college player, but just does not have the physical traits or the processing to go and play a middle linebacker role or even an outside linebacker role in the NFL. But I'm interested to see how he does today. I'm interested to see what he does the rest of the year. This is one of those guys who might be a steal potentially in the late rounds, or could, again, just fall into that generic bucket of productive college linebacker, just does not have what it takes to jump to the pros. Another linebacker from Auburn that gets a little more attention right now, junior linebacker Owen Papo, I believe is how to say his last name, and that's wrong. I blame ESPN because I'm watching their analysis on it. I'm watching how they pronounce names. But he comes out, he's a very controversial player, I would say. I've seen him show up anywhere from being in the top 40 on big boards to being outside the top 100. So it's really up and down for him as far as he can go in the draft this year. And again, he needs a big season because if he has a big year, he could absolutely be a top 90-ish pick or so. But if he has a bad year, he can always come back for senior season, try again. But usually once you have that one disappointing letdown campaign, it's very hard to bounce back and get your draft stock back up. The guys I'm really interested in seeing, though, are really in the secondary for Auburn. Those are the ones I want to watch. Roger McCreary, who I think could be a top 60 pick or so in the coming draft. It's just a very deep cornerback class. In any other year, I think it would be guaranteed to be a top 50 pick or so, but it's a deep cornerback group this year. But McCreary is still a very good player. And again, I'm thinking about locking him in as the top 60 pick already based on what he's done so far this year. Although it'll be interesting to see how he plays against someone like maybe Jahan Dotson if they line up against each other. Junior cornerback Nehemiah Pritchard. Sorry about that. I had that pronunciation down, and then it took me a second when I saw the name. Nehemiah Pritchett has been Pritchett. Well, maybe I need to work on that a little bit more. But he's another player I'm looking at. Again, this secondary for Auburn right now has a lot of future NFL talent. He's certainly one of them based on what he's done so far in his career. Maybe not as super productive, maybe not as well known as McCreary, but at this point, I'm leaning towards him being someone who might be a candidate to return for a senior year, depending on how the rest of the season plays out. But I think he could certainly go out and draft and get taken probably on day 3 right now. He could get lean towards day 2 if he goes out and plays well the rest of the year, though. And then senior safety, Smoke Monday, one of the best names in the draft. There's a lot of them, guys like Storm Duck as well. There's a ton of really good names this year. I really like it from a name perspective, but Smoke Monday is a bit of a bigger guy, 6'3", close to 200 pounds. I would like to see him get a little more weight on that frame. If he gets up to like 6'3", 210, I feel a little bit better about taking him for playing him a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. But right now, coming off a year where he had 73 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, a sack, 2 interceptions, 3 passes to defense, and a defensive touchdown. That was in 2020 in 11 games. So you got to have high expectations for him. But again, it's a very deep safety class. I think he's probably going to be a day 3 or safety, if not like day 2 guy. But still, someone to keep an eye on because, again, physically, 6'3". You don't get many 6'3" safeties in the NFL. There's a lot to work with there from a frame perspective. So Smoke Monday, guy to keep an eye on in this game. Again, that whole secondary for Auburn really has a lot of NFL talent. And over to Penn State, Jahan Dotson, everyone knows about him at this point. He's kind of the highlight of that offense. I don't really have many other people to talk about on that offense right now. You have Rasheed Walker, who really just did not look good against Wisconsin, and that's kind of ruined his draft stock in my eyes so far. There's so many other tackles who are either day 1 guys or day 2 guys in this draft class, and someone like Walker is just tumbling down the board, potentially being just a day 3 guy at this point. Defensively is where most of Penn State's talent lies. Obviously, Dotson's a very good player. Rasheed Walker could potentially jump back into late round 3 conversations if he has good games in the future. But defensively, Brandon Smith at linebacker, Tariq Castro-Fields at corner, Joey Porter Jr. at corner, and of course, Jaquan Brisker at safety. Those are the guys for Penn State that everyone wants to keep an eye on. Brisker being a senior. He was very good early in the season. This guy, again, it's a deep safety class, but I would put him right up there behind Kyle Hampton, with guys like Brandon Joseph, guys like Jordan Battle, Jaquan Brisker's in that category as potentially being a future first-round pick. Brandon Smith is in the conversation for being the best linebacker in the coming class should he decide to go out because he is only junior. But there are other linebackers also in that conversation, guys like Christian Harris as well. But Brandon Smith is squarely in that debate of being potentially the top linebacker in the upcoming class. Someone like a redshirt sophomore like Joey Porter Jr. I think could go back for another year and just try to build on what he's already accomplished. But he is draft eligible, so if he has a good year, I would not be shocked if he comes out. And senior cornerback Tariq Castro-Fields, who I already mentioned. A very good secondary there for Penn State, a very good secondary for Auburn, actually. So overall, the secondary play is something to really keep an eye on here in this matchup. But very difficult for both quarterbacks to play well in this game. And both quarterbacks are actually pretty average in terms of college ranks, in my opinion. So we'll see how this plays out. I expect actually some pretty decent turnovers in this game, at least interception-wise, depending on how much Auburn relies on Bo Nix and depending on how much they decide to run the ball with Tank Bigsby. But for now, thank you for listening to this preview of the top 2022 NFL Draft prospects in the Auburn versus Penn State game. Again, that's on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. And if you'd like this video, you can go out and check out some of the other previews I've done for the other games today. I know I talked about Alabama versus Florida. I talked about Indiana versus Cincinnati. I talked about Miami versus Michigan State. So go check those out. They're all available on my YouTube channel right now. I'll see you guys all later.